What's going on, guys? My name is Matt, and this is the first RGB gaming PC I have ever built. This build features a bunch of Black Friday deals, along with some parts BitPhoenix sent out, including their new Enzo mesh case. Now, just as a disclaimer before I get any further into the video, this PC is using some Black Friday deals, so you can't really put together this exact PC for $1,000 right now. With that being said, I did spec out a PC for $1,000 in the description with the same case, very similar gaming performance, and almost as much RGB. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this PC build video. So this build is centered around the Ryzen 7 1700X, which yes, I know is a generation old, but Neweg's eBay page had new 1700Xs for $150. That in conjunction with a 15% off coupon meant I got this 8-core beast for only $127 new. Now this doesn't come with a cooler, but at this price point it's an amazing value. With 8 cores and 16 threads boosting up to 3.8 GHz and overclockable, the CPU can handle most anything you throw at it, including gaming and video editing. For the motherboard, I got a pretty good deal on this Gigabyte Aorus B450 Pro Wi-Fi. This is a pretty full-featured board, but doesn't allow for a great overclock. I picked this up for around $90, which when you figure in all the features along with the really good aesthetic, I think it's a good value for the money. This board has 2 M.2 slots, built-in RGB, and a host of other features, making it a great option for those of you who don't care much about overclocking. Cooling this CPU is this 120mm Cooler Master Liquid AIO. I got this on sale for $40. $40 for an AIO is a pretty good deal. This one doesn't look the best, but it definitely gets the job done by keeping the powerful 1700X cool and quiet. For RAM, I went with a 16GB kit of Team Group T-Force Delta RGB RAM at 3000 MHz. This stuff works pretty good and the RGB implementation looks really nice. At $120, this is a pretty good value for the money if you want RGB RAM and has plenty of memory for gaming. For the GPU, this is one of the best deals I've ever got. It's a GTX 1070 I picked up for around $160 off eBay. While I did pick this up around Black Friday, it wasn't really a Black Friday deal. It was just an auction I won, and I think this is probably the cheapest working 1070 sold on eBay in recent history. Now, as you might be able to tell, this card is a little beat up, but it performs perfectly fine and stays cool and quiet. For $160, you absolutely cannot beat the price to performance. With that being said, 1070s usually go for around $200 to $225 used on eBay, which is still an incredible value for the money and a great option for those of you wanting the most performance for your dollar. For storage, I went with a single 512GB SSD that I got on sale for $55. SSDs are ridiculously cheap right now. There have been a number of sales for 1TB drives under $100. This Intel 545S at $55 is an incredible value for the money. Going with a big SSD to start is a great option in my opinion, as you can always add mass storage in the form of hard drives later down the line. With that being said, personally, if I didn't edit videos, 512GB of storage would really be all that I need. Another option would be a smaller SSD and hard drive combo, but personally I would rather have the large SSD to start. Powering the system is this 650W 80+ gold BitPhoenix Formula PSU. This is a really great performing unit with all black sleeve cables coming in at around $80, but at this price point having a non-modular design is kind of disappointing. With that being said, this unit worked great for this system, and 650 watts is more than enough for most single CPU and GPU combos. Housing all the components is the BitPhoenix Enzo mesh, which is honestly probably my favorite case out right now. This is basically a Meshify C for those of you who like RGB. I really applaud BitPhoenix for listening to community feedback on the original Enzo and making a mesh version for much better airflow. This is a $90 case that features a tempered glass side panel, a full mesh front panel, addressable RGB running around the front, a built-in RGB controller, PSU basement, and tons of other features. I really love this case and I'll probably be doing a full review of it in the near future, so if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section down below. This comes with a standard 120mm fan fan in the front and a static RGB fan in the back. I removed both of these and replaced them with 4 addressable RGB fans. This provides a crazy amount of airflow and looks really awesome. These fans are around $15 a piece, so $60 for all 4, which is a decent deal for addressable RGB fans. I use these in conjunction with 2 BitPhoenix RGB strips for around $30 to really light the build well. These fans plus the strips plus the front panel gives you about as much RGB as anyone could want. These lights can be controlled through your motherboard. I wish I had gotten an Asus board, as Gigabyte RGB software is honestly horrible. I just ended up using BitPhoenix's built-in RGB controller, which you can adjust using a button on the case. This is a good number of options and doesn't eat up system resources the way a software controller would. So for me, it worked perfect as it had options for solid colors along with rainbow effects. For $1,000, I think I put together a rig with both great looks and performance. Again, this is using Black Friday deals, but a system like this with an R5 2600 could be built today with the same gaming performance for $1,000. For benchmarking, I left everything at stock except for the RAM, which I set to its XMP profile of 3000 MHz. So with that out of the way, let's get into the benchmarks. So yeah guys, I think this wraps this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as consider subscribing. And this is Matt from Tech by Matt, signing out.